Hello everyone. Today we continue with the next part of the challenging and emotional journey of the single mother, Dieuhan. Dieuhan found herself in a dangerously tense situation. A violent thief almost harmed her, but luckily, Ta Ong Age arrived just in time and saved her from the criminal's hands. After the incident, Ta Ong immediately contacted the local police. Everything was chaotic at the time, and Dieuhan was still in shock. She sat in the small room, dazed, clutching Ta Ong's hand, the only person she could trust at that moment. But her heart couldn't rest. In her mind, the image of Uyen kept appearing. Uyen, who had been missing for several days. Even though she was still shaken, Han decided that she had to return home as soon as possible. A place that might hold more clues, more evidence the police would need. And it was also the place where she hoped Uyen might return to. Han understood that without needing many words. He quietly helped her into the car. Then, as they turned onto the road leading to her house, they unexpectedly encountered a local police officer who was gathering information from nearby residents. One of the officers, tall with a stern look in his eyes, turned around as the two approached. He quickly walked toward them and asked, "Who are you two? What's your relationship to this house?" Tan hurriedly introduced himself, and Han stepped forward, still trembling, but trying to remain calm. "I'm Dieuhan. I'm a friend of Uyen." As soon as he heard the name, the officer seemed startled. His gaze softened. "You're the victim from last night's incident, right? We've been looking for you. Please come inside. We need your full statement." Han nodded and slowly walked in. Inside the familiar house, everything seemed the same. But the atmosphere had changed completely. The usual peace was gone, replaced by urgency, tension, and the cold air of unanswered questions. The officer opened his notebook, pulled out a pen, and began asking questions. His voice was low and steady, as if trying not to pressure her. "Can you recount everything that happened last night? Start from when you first noticed something unusual." Han tried to stay calm and recounted everything, bit by bit, from the strange noises she heard, to the moment the thief attacked, and the scene when Tan showed up to save her. She also mentioned Uyen's sudden and mysterious disappearance. The officer took careful notes, occasionally looking up to clarify important details. The room's atmosphere became tenser. Tha and Chi sat on the porch, eyes fixed inside, worried for Han. After nearly 30 minutes, the officer stood up. "Thank you for cooperating, Ms. Han. The information you provided is very important. We'll continue our investigation thoroughly. For now, please rest and avoid going out alone. If you hear anything about the girl named Uyen, contact us immediately." Han nodded, her eyes red with emotion but shining with gratitude. After the police left, the house returned to its initial silence. Only the rustling of the wind on the porch and the loud thumping of her heart remained. She stood in the middle of the room, looking around at the mess left behind from the chaotic night. Then she sighed and said softly, "I need to clean up this place so that if Uyen comes back, she'll have somewhere to rest." Without hesitation, Han rolled up her sleeves and began tidying up, picking up each item, wiping away every speck of dust, even though her heart was still weighed down by worry. Seeing her, Tan quietly stepped into the kitchen to help. He said nothing, simply worked alongside her gently. Suddenly, the sound of a door opening echoed from the back of the house. Han turned around. It was Hoang. the friend who had come with Tan to save her the night before? He entered in a hurry, his face still carrying traces of concern. Have the police already been here? Huang asked. Tan nodded, wiping his hands with a towel before replying. Yes, they came this morning and took Han's statement. Han now looked closely at Huang. A thought flashed through her mind. Unable to hold back her curiosity, she asked, Brother Huang, how did you know Uyen? I thought you two didn't know each other. Huang was silent for a few seconds, as if weighing something. Then he answered slowly. I knew Uyen through a friend. We weren't close, but I'd heard a lot about her. I know that in the past, Uyen's stepfather tried to force her to marry a man more than 10 years older than her. That sentence startled Han. Huang nodded, his voice lowering. She refused. She ran away. I think if someone's been following, threatening, or trying to harm Uyen, that man is likely the one behind it. A chill ran down Han's spine. She turned to Tan, then back to Huang, asking urgently, Then who is he? What's his name? Where does he live? Huang replied without hesitation, as if he had been ready for this moment. His name is Qin. He lives near the embankment in a small house right by the river. Everyone in that area knows him. The name hit Han like a thunderclap. Her heart pounded violently. Her eyes widened. Her whole body froze. She whispered, Mr. Qin? No one understood why Han reacted like that, but in her mind, a memory rushed back like a crashing wave. She remembered the last time she had gone to Mr. Qin's house. Uyen had gone with her then. Back then, Uyen suddenly held her stomach, pretended to be in pain, and asked to leave early. After that day, Uyen never brought it up again. Han didn't dare to ask, thinking maybe the girl was just shy about something personal. But now everything seemed to click into place. She murmured to herself, It can't be Mr. Qin. The one who gave me directions to find my father is actually the stepfather. Uyen has always tried to escape from? Her eyes dimmed. Her mouth went dry. Every piece of the puzzle was starting to fall into place, forming a horrifying picture. Han had made up her mind. She couldn't wait another second. She couldn't let her heart be tormented any longer. With sudden resolve, she stood up, her eyes burning with fierce determination. I have to go see Mr. Qin right now. Tan was surprised, but said nothing. Seeing her rush toward the door, he quietly followed. He knew Han wanted to confront this on her own, but there was no way he would let her go alone, especially when suspicion now pointed to a man Uyen had once desperately tried to escape. Wherever you're going, I'm going too. Today, I won't let you be alone, Tan said, his voice gentle but firm. Han was about to argue, but remained silent. Deep down, she knew. This time, she might truly need someone by her side. As Han and Tan stepped into the yard, the wooden door swung open. Mr. Qin Jungjo, Makmot nu koi Than Thien. Oh, Han? You've come back? Come in. Tan gave a slight bow. Han nodded and entered, her eyes scanning every detail around her. Mr. Qin poured tea and invited them to sit. Then he asked, You haven't returned to your hometown yet, Han? And who is this? I'm staying a few more days. There's something I need to clarify. This is my friend Tan. He's here to help me. Mr. Qin smiled and nodded. Ah, I see. Well, staying here might be good. You never know. Maybe you'll get some news about your parents. Han looked straight at him, no longer hiding her intent. Uncle, do you happen to know someone named Uyen? Immediately, Mr. Qin's face changed ever so slightly. He froze for a second, then forced a laugh. Uyen? No, I don't know anyone by that name. Han leaned in slightly, her tone more serious. Please think carefully. Do you know anyone named Uyen? Mr. Qin began to lose his composure, his brow furrowed. I told you, I don't know anyone with that name. The room suddenly felt tense. Tan stepped in, his voice calm but clear. Sir, Uyen is currently missing. The police are involved. We're just trying to find out if anyone nearby might know anything. Suddenly, Mr. Qin slammed his hand on the table, his voice angry. What are you implying? That I had something to do with that girl's disappearance? Than remained calm and shook his head. No, sir, that's not what we're saying. We're just asking for any information you might have. Han, however, kept her eyes fixed on him, her trust clearly gone. She asked bluntly, Why are you reacting so strongly, uncle? What is your relationship to Uyen? Mr. Qin's face darkened completely, no longer the friendly man from before. He growled through clenched teeth. She's a stubborn girl. If she had listened to me, she'd be living comfortably now. But no, she ran away. Han was stunned. She shot up from her seat, eyes wide in shock. What are you saying? Listen to you? What does that mean? Were you involved in forcing her to marry someone? Are you her stepfather? Mr. Qin's face went pale, then flushed red with fury. He roared, Get out of my house! How dare you accuse me? Leave, both of you. Than immediately stood up and took Han's hand. Let's go, Han. Staying here won't solve anything. Han froze for a moment, then nodded. She walked toward the door in silence, but inside, her heart felt pierced by 1,000 needles. Every word Mr. Qin had said echoed in her chest, layered with hidden meanings, dripping with deceit. On the way back, the two of them remained silent for a long stretch. It wasn't until they neared the gate of the house that Thun finally spoke, his voice gentle. You see, now things are more complicated than we thought, but don't worry, there will be a way. We will uncover the truth as long as you don't give up. Hun gave a slight nod, her eyes brimming with tears. I never imagined that the man who once showed me the way to find my father would be the same one who made Uyen suffer like that. I have to find out what he did to her. Thun said nothing more. He simply placed a quiet hand on Hun's shoulder, a silent promise that in this painful and dangerous journey, she would not be alone. The sky ahead was turning a dull gray. A storm was coming, and Han's journey to uncover every hidden corner of the truth, to seek justice for Uyen, was only just beginning.
Trên đường về, cả hai im lặng một đoạn dài. Chỉ khi tới gần cổng nhà, Thành mới nhẹ giọng. Em thấy mọi chuyện phức tạp hơn ta nghĩ. Nhưng đừng lo, sẽ có cách. Chúng ta sẽ tìm ra được sự thật. Chỉ cần em không từ bỏ. Thân khẽ gật đầu, nước mắt trực trào. Em không ngờ người từng chỉ đường em là người cha dượng, khiến Uyen khổ sở như thế. Em phải tìm ra bằng được ông ta đã làm gì Uyen. Thành không nói gì thêm, anh chỉ lặng lẽ đặt tay lên vai Hân như một lời hứa thầm lặng rằng trong hành trình đầy nguy hiểm và đau thương này, cô không hề đơn độc. Bầu trời phía trước dần chuyển màu xám đục, một cơn giông đang kéo đến, và hành trình của Hân để lật mở từng ngóc ngách của sự thật, để đòi lại công lý cho Uyen mới chỉ vừa bắt đầu.